I found that when the Board of Supervisors seat opened up, it was a great opportunity for me to come home and be on a local governmental body that I could do just that, build consensus and get things done. Monday night, we held yet another moment of silence on the House floor. I've lost track of how many moments of silence we've had since I've been in Congress. Mr. Speaker, I'm sick of silence. Mr. Speaker, I'm calling on you to allow us to vote.
And now Democratic Congresswoman Janice Hahn joins me out front. She represents the district in Southern California where this happened. Thank you for being with me, Congresswoman. This woman is a constituent of yours. When you see this and what happened with the marshal, what do you think?
When I first saw that video, I was horrified as well. There were just so many things about it that were disturbing. Beatrice is a constituent of mine. Southgate is a city in my congressional district. And to see that U.S. Marshal really come and almost attack her, grabbing her phone, kicking her phone, not to mention his weapon was sort of, you know, flying around a little bit on his back. I mean, it was a very dangerous situation. So I am going to do two things. One, I have written a letter to Eric Holder, Attorney General, asking him to launch an investigation into the actions of this U.S. Marshal. And the other thing I'm doing is introducing a resolution on the House floor called the Sense of Congress. And hopefully the members of Congress will join me in reminding the citizens of this great country that it is their right to video law enforcement activities as long as they're not impeding an arrest or an investigation. It is their right, and it is illegal for law enforcement to take their cell phones, take their iPhones, destroy the evidence. That's completely illegal. Last Wednesday, I was sitting in a committee hearing for small business. I sit on the Small Business Committee, and I got a text message that I was needed on the House floor to accompany John Lewis as he was about to speak. So I immediately left my committee hearing, made my way to the House floor, and I want to start this meeting tonight by letting you listen to what John Lewis said, which began our 26-hour sit-in. Just a few minutes after John Lewis spoke, the House administration turned off the mics. They turned off the cameras that C-SPAN broadcast, you know, gavel to gavel of our goings-on back in Congress. Luckily, and I learned a lot about social media that day, luckily those millennials, they know what they're doing, and they started streaming live video from their phones on Facebook and Periscope. And C-SPAN was able to pick up the live feed for the next 25 hours. Reason people knew what we were doing. And sure enough, by the time we had ended, a huge crowd had come outside our nation's capital, hundreds of people, to cheer us on, to support us. We had people texting us from all over the world as a result of that live feed, agreeing with us, standing with us in solidarity and say, you are right, it's time to do something about gun violence. When I got up to speak, I spoke of one-year-old Autumn Johnson from Compton, who was killed in her crib. She was asleep in her crib earlier this year in Compton, and it was one of the most heartbreaking funerals I've ever gone to see little Autumn in her little lavender coffin, knowing that her life was over because of gun violence. You know, Speaker Ryan forced an end to our protest, and because they put Congress into recess early. They broke for the July 4th recess early because they wanted to shut us down. But I think why we're having this tonight is because I know I'm not going to be shut down on this issue.
turn off the cameras, they can recess Congress early. By the way, they recessed in the middle of the night while America slept. They snuck off for their July 4th break. But I'm not going to be shut down. And the reason I brought this here to you tonight, because I know for many of you, this issue is very personal. And we have seen too much bloodshed, you and me. And in 2014, 2,942 people were shot and killed in California. In the last 12 months, 475 people have been shot and killed in Los Angeles County, 84 just in my congressional district. So here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to have a few speakers that hopefully will limit their speeches to about 2 minutes with some personal experiences and what they want us to hear about gun violence. And then the most important part of tonight is that those of you who would like to share your stories about how gun violence has impacted your life, please, we want you to come to the podium, and we want you to take 3 minutes. We've got a little timer because we think there's going to be a lot of people that want to share their stories. Because I'm going to take your stories back next week after July 4th. I'm going to take your stories back and give them to Speaker Paul Ryan. And I'm going to, once again, ask, demand, beg for him to allow Congress to vote on these two common sense solutions to gun violence. And I think together, we're going to send a powerful message to Speaker Ryan. And all we're asking is that we get a vote.